All right, we're back to the Mishnah. We learned a Mishnah yesterday about what you can make matzah from. What you can make matzah from. And I think we finished that yesterday. All right, we can do it again. These are the types of grains that a person can fulfill his obligation from them on Passover. One minute. What did I do wrong? Huh? What did I do? I wanted this picture to be advertised, and for some reason, I'm just a picture of me. What happened? What did I do wrong? There it is. Can I get this? Man. There we go. Press the right button. These are the things that a person fills his obligation for Pesach, right? Yeah, now it's a mitzvah to eat matzah. The Torah doesn't explain what matzah is. Doesn't explain what it is. It's just passed down. In fact, the Torah doesn't really explain anything about almost anything. It doesn't explain what Shabbos is and what day it is and what what the 10 Commandments are. What does it mean? Don't steal. Don't steal what? Don't steal. In the 10 Commandments, it means don't steal people. So here, this is another example. It says you have to eat matzah, but it doesn't explain what matzah is. So this is what was passed down, what God told Moses on Mount Sinai. These are the types of grains you can make your matzah from. It doesn't have to be from wheat. You can make your matzah from wheat, from barley, from kusmin. What is kusmin? I don't know. Spelt, chiffon. Maybe that's spelt. The millet, bishibulet shol. You can find out how these things are translated. Bishibulet shol and oatmeal. And oatmeal, oats. Oats. Let's look and okay, we'll do the whole thing and then we'll go back. You fill your obligation with damai. Damai means flour that was owned by a ignorant Jew, a not Talmid Chacham Jew, that he doesn't exactly know the laws of Meiser and Truma. And you can also fill, so even though there's this worry, maybe there is in this flour some Truma or Meiser, maybe, you don't know. So, but nevertheless, it's okay. You don't have to worry. The Gemara asks, why don't you have to worry? Well, I mean, you shouldn't be able to. We'll explain. Also, you can fulfill the obligation with Meiser Rishon, Genitlu Trumato. Meiser Rishon is 1/10 that you have to give to the Levites, and the Levites have to take out from that also one portion, 1/100th or whatever. They have to give a portion from what they have to the Kohanim. So it was taken away. It was done properly. What's wrong? You have Meiser Rishon, and you took out the Truma. That's good. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Why would you think you couldn't use this for matzah? Also, Meiser Sheni. The Hekdesh Shenifdu. Also, Meiser Sheni. What's Meiser Sheni? Meiser Sheni is another portion that you have to take out from grains. or from fruits, vegetables. Generally speaking, there's 4 things that have to be taken out from produce and given to the Levites and the Kohanim. That's what's called Truma. Truma is a portion that's given to the Kohen. Meiser, Rishon, first Meiser, that's given to the Levites. Then the Levites have to take, like I said, from their portion. They have to also give a portion to the Kohen. That's called Trumat Meiser. And then there's what's called Meiser Sheni. Meiser Sheni is every year you have to take out another tenth of your produce. Another tenth of your produce. But on the 3rd year and the 6th year, you take it up to Jerusalem. And it's Meiser Oni, you give it to the poor people. And all the other years, you have to take it up to Jerusalem and eat it there in Jerusalem. That's what you do, eat it in Jerusalem. But if you don't want to eat it in Jerusalem, you can redeem it. You can take money and take the money up to Jerusalem and eat it up there. Right? So then what you've got now is Meiser Sheni, that's yours, and you can eat it. You can eat it at home. And you can take the money that you take up, you have to buy fruits over there. So this is Meiser Sheni, Shenivdu, that you redeemed it. You made it permissible to eat by means of taking the money up to Jerusalem. So you have all these grains now that you took out everything you need. And also Hekdesh. What if you have Hekdesh? You have grains that you're saying, I'm going to bring them to the Holy Temple for an offering. And you decide to give the money instead. Right, we're going to see how it works. So these things are totally permissible. What's wrong? Why does it have to have a special Mishnah to tell you that we can use it? We'll find out. Kohanim, Bechala, or Betruma. And the Kohanim are given a portion of every bread that's bigger than, what is it, the Isaron, a certain size, that you, Kohanim, they get a little portion of that. That's called their challah. And the truma that we talked about before. Kohanim can make matzah out of these things. Why not? But not in tevel. Tevel is grains that for sure have not been taken, the truma and the meiser from them. And not from meiser rishon that you didn't take the truma from. Right? The Levite has his meiser rishon that was given to him by the farmer, and he was supposed to take out his portion, his trumat meiser, and he didn't take it out. So you can't use that for making matzah. It's forbidden to use it for anything until you take out it's forbidden food. You can't. And also non-meiser shein and hekdesh that you didn't redeem it. You can't make matzah from that. What's so amazing about that? We'll see. Chalot toda rekiki nazir. Oh, Chalot Toda and Rikik, when you bring a Thanksgiving offering to the Holy Temple, so it's the only time that you can bring chametz. There's one other time. on Shavuot, it says that the 2 loaves of bread were chametz, and 10 of the loaves that you brought from the Toda offering are chametz. But that's only 10 out of the 40. You have to bring 40 loaves. The other 30 loaves, in fact, any other bread offerings in the Holy Temple are always matzah, always. But now you're bringing a Thanksgiving offering. And the Thanksgiving offering, you can eat it. Sometimes some of them you can eat the Thanksgiving offerings. And they're made from matzah. So you should be able to feel your obligation with them, right? It says Chalot Toda and Rakiki Nazir, and the bread which is brought by a Nazir when he becomes pure again, as if you make it for yourself, then you can't be Yotzi. If you make him to sell in the marketplace, then you can be Yotzi with him. What does this mean? Let's see. This is a little bit mysterious in the end, so let's see. It says in the Torah, Barishon ba'arba asar yom l'chodesh, on the first month, on the 14th day of that month, in the evening, you should eat matzahs. Matzot. From here, you see that it's obligated for every man and also every woman in Israel to eat matzah on the first night of Passover. Our Mishnah comes to teach us what type of matzah can a person use. Oh, we're starting from the beginning. These are the types of grains that a person can fill his obligation with on Pesach. With a kazayas matzah, to eat one kazayas, a matzah that is baked from them. He fills his obligation of eating matzah on the first night of Passover. What are they? Chitim, sorry, wheat, psorim, barley, v'kusmin. It says you want to know what these things are? Look over in Masechet Chala. It talks about the same thing because you have to take this portion of challah that you give to the Kohen only from bread. If it's not from bread, you don't take challah from. So you have to know what is bread. And so it says, chitim, seorim, kusmin. Kusmin sometimes is translated as what millet. And she'ifim, shifon, and shibulat shor, she'ul. That's sometimes, how does it translate? I just have to remember. For some reason, I just had a little lapse of memory, but it's usually wheat, barley, rye, millet, and oats. Those are the 5 types. These are the first 5 types of grains. That if you make dough from them, the dough will rise. And that's one of the ways we know how to choose the grains from which to make matzahs. It has to be grains that if you put water on them, that in a short amount of time, they will raise up, they'll come to be chometz. It'll puff up. Not all grains puff up. For instance, rice, there's an argument about it, but generally speaking, rice, if you grind up rice and you put water on it, then after 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's exactly the same thing. If you leave it for longer, then it starts to, to rot. And so therefore it becomes puffy, but not because it's rising up. It's not because of the yeast or whatever that's inside of it, a natural, healthy raising up. So these 5 different types of grains, if you put water on them, they will come to be chometz. They will start to rise up and puff up. You have to be careful about them that they don't become chometz. Any grains that if you put water on it, you have to be careful that it doesn't become chometz. On Pesach, from these things you can make from it matzah, the yotzin de chavoto, and you fill your obligation of eating matzah. And the reason in the Gemara is explained why. What's the connection between only grains that can become chometz? You can make matzah out of it because there's a pasuk. The pasuk says, "Lo tochal olav chametz," do not eat chametz. This is when you bring the Pesach offering. You have to eat it with matzah. You cannot eat it with chametz. 7 days you have to eat after the offering of the Pesach offering, matzot. The rabbis learn, because it says in the same sentence, you cannot eat chametz, but you must eat matzah. The rabbis say that only things which become chametz a person can fill his obligation with matzah. Things that do not become chametz, like for instance, rice, dochen, millet, I don't know what it is. V'yotze behem, that the bread does not come to become chametz, but what do? They just comes to be smelly, it rots. Is ein adam yotze behem, a person does not fill his obligation of matzah with them. Let's just do one more. You can fill your obligation by eating damai. Damai, I explained to you what damai is, and here's a better explanation. But tavua, if you take grain from Ama Oretz, from an ignorant Jew, hachashud al meiser, that is suspected that maybe he doesn't take a tenth out of his hard-earned grains. He worked really hard. Why should he take a tenth out? So they think, that's what a simple person thinks, that maybe only religious people give or something. Okay, but on the other hand, these are Jews, and they did grow the grains properly, and they didn't work on Shabbat or whatever, and they didn't mix them together. There's no, or they know basic laws, but they don't know the laws about Meiser. So it says maybe they did take Meiser from it, and maybe they didn't. And the simple person is not around to ask him. Even though that the rabbi said it's forbidden to eat them, because there's a doubt. Maybe there is in this grain, in this flour. Maybe there is in this flour Meiser. You don't know. It could be that there is, could be that there's not, right? These people that grow the wheat, these simple people, they aren't against God. They aren't against the Torah. They don't want an easy way. They just don't know. Nevertheless, so therefore the rabbis said, according to the Torah, it's permissible to eat. According to the rabbis, it said it's forbidden. But even though the rabbi said it's forbidden to eat this flour, nevertheless, yotzim b'dei chovat matzah, you can use it for matzah, since vehi muteris lanim, it's permissible to poor people. Like we learn, ma'chalim et ha'aniyim damai. Okay, there's a special law. The rabbis made a decree that anytime you have flour that you're not 100% sure there was taken the meiser from it, so you have two choices. Either you can take the meiser from it, or you can give it to a poor person, and the poor person can eat it. There's other people also says you can feed it to soldiers also, if they come to your house. Soldiers, because it's not forbidden from the Torah, it's only forbidden from the rabbis. So the rabbis, they make the laws, and the rabbis also can make exceptions to the laws. And that's what it is. So because it's permissible for a poor person, therefore it's permissible for every Jew. Why? Because any Jew potentially can declare himself to be poor. He can give all of his money to charity, and he's officially can be declared poor. So therefore it's relevant for every Jew to eat damai, right? It's when? For matzah. If you have no other choice, you can use this leniency in order to eat matzah that was made from damai. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. Please be with us, 8:15 in the morning. Today, there was something went wrong with my computer, and that's why I was just a little bit sort of not really organized. Something went wrong with the computer, and it didn't allow me to record things and to bring them down into what. So therefore, today's morning's Hasidus class and Shulchan Aruch class is not up. I think maybe I can redeem it somehow or other, but tomorrow will be totally different. 8:15. Hope to see everybody. God bless you all with Mashiach now. Shalom uvracha.